Hi, it's Ammari here with Moon.
Yeah, my name is Mimo Davis, and I'm the co-owner of Urban Buds City-Grown Flowers here in St. Louis, Missouri. I've been doing this for 30 years, and only in the last 3 years have other Black florists appeared. And I have literally brought them into my community. It's like, oh my gosh, because it's really lonely place to be for 30 years, and you're kind of the raisin in the oatmeal, right? Or that you just feel like odd man out. It's like, this is a business, this is a viable way to make a living, and why aren't we doing it? So when I met these lovely ladies, we actually came together through an event called Art and Bloom, and we bonded immediately. Like we took a group picture that day and knew that we had something really special, right? So, and we've all done different things. Ammari helped me out in the office for a little bit, and we've all done different things together, separately. Everybody's got their own business, but we've all collaborated, right? So when Keelan called and talked about this project, this was just like the opening, the opportunity. I just walked right through that door because I knew that this was the perfect mind meld of Black florists with Chicago youth, Southside Blooms. It just all made so much sense, right? And look at it. Look at that, right? I could tear up. And to have those kids from Chicago know that this is a real live possible way to make a living, because that's a big hurdle to climb, right? That's a huge hurdle to climb for kids to understand that this is, especially male Black men, because they have to go through all this, oh, you must be gay if you're a florist, or, oh, is that a real job? Or some of these florists, some of these Black florists, they're doing $40,000 weddings on a weekend. And these kids, they need to know that. They need to know that that's a real possibility and a real live income that is available to them, like right now. And that's this blending. When Keelan said, we want to come and do this, really it was my idea to like, oh yeah, let me bring in these florists, because it just made sense for them to see it in real time.
I started my own floral studio called Moon about a year and a half ago. Moon is my childhood namesake. I'm a twin, and my mom nicknamed one of us High Noon, kind of like the Wild West energy, and the other one Midnight. So it was kind of a play on words. Flowers day night, Moon. I'm actually from an HR background, which is, as you can imagine, a little bit emotionally soul-sucking. And so floristry kind of came on a little bit as a hobby at first. I was always into plants and flowers and things like that. And my friends and family, they would say, oh, will you do my flowers for a baby shower or something like that? And I was in this really transitional time. And I bet on myself. I took the leap. And I said, you know what? I want to do this full time. It is such a blessing to go out and be a part of my community. I was connecting with such amazing people, and it was a weird sense of wholeness that I really received from floristry, because I was writing these notes that other people, they would give to me, they give to their loved ones. And I really had that sense of like, hey, people care about each other. And sometimes when you're watching the news and living life, that can be a lesson that we forget, that we're people and that caring about each other is like, that's what it's all about. And so, yeah, that's kind of how floristry came on board here. And as far as the St. Louis area, oh my gosh, there's nothing like the Lou, like these girls. The floristry community, I was a little intimidated, but they swept me up with open arms. I have made some lifelong friends in the florists here and in the Black community. Like, just amazing. I cannot speak highly enough.
I was a social worker in Midtown Manhattan in 1989, and my mother married, she dated this guy in Jefferson City, Missouri, and they got married. And I was a social worker working for a place called Covenant House, Midtown Manhattan. Working with street kids, real adolescents, they are prostitutes. Just real heavy duty street kids. And I flew out for the wedding, and I was gonna stay at my mom's for the week while she went on her honeymoon. This is the story. And while she was dating her partner, her husband, she mentioned that she liked plants. And he was a great listener. So when my mom was moving from New York, he surprised her with a house. He bought a house from Master Gardeners, which was insane because she lived in a studio apartment in Midtown Manhattan, had like maybe, she said she liked plants, but she meant like a pothos sitting on a desk. And he bought her a house that had 132 rose bushes in the backyard and a lean-to greenhouse attached to the master bedroom, okay? When I flew out for the wedding, I was gonna stay there while they went on their honeymoon. My mom grabbed me by the hand, walked me into that greenhouse. I'll never forget it. And she said, I don't know what any of this shit is, but don't let anything die. That's literally what she said to me. And I hadn't got her a wedding present yet. And so I figured out I could make her a little scrapbook. So that week, I took the whole week breaking off little pieces of leaves of plants and driving them around a nursery centers, trying to identify them and make her a scrapbook, right? And in that week, I fell in love. I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know if it was agriculture, horticulture, plants. I didn't know what to call it, but I knew that I was ready for a change. I was living in a studio apartment, 20th and Park, paying $1,500 a month in rent in 1989. And I mean, a real studio apartment. And I got a newspaper that said that I could have a 15-acre farm and change left over for the same money in rural Missouri. Okay, it was in Ashland, Missouri. I bought a farm and I moved. My mom and I were also very close. And so I didn't feel nervous about doing that because my mom was gonna be 20 minutes away. So I bought my first farm. I had no idea of what I was doing. So imagine Midtown Manhattan to rural Missouri. In 1989, there was a flashing four-way stop, and that was it. I was used to ordering Balducci's at 3 in the morning if I wanted it. I really threw my life into a culture shock, but it was standing here 30 years later, it's revolutionized my life. The joy that it's brought me, and I tell people I'm still in social work, I just have a different delivery method. You know, I just bring joy. I mean, when I hand somebody a bouquet, some flowers, I've never had anybody not smile. Maybe they cry, but it's a joyful cry. 30 years ago, florists, I would do a bucket run. There weren't anybody doing local flowers, okay? These florists would be like, where'd you get this stuff? Get out of here. I mean, I got chased out of more flower shops than flowers I sold. Local was not a thing. And they saw me as a competitor. I don't know why, because I wasn't even doing what they were doing, but they felt really threatened. And then I found the Association of Specially Cut Flower Growers. And for once, there were people who were talking my language. They weren't my skin color, but they were talking my language. And I needed somebody. I needed to not be the only person outstanding in my field alone. You know, I needed a community. And so they became my community, a really hardcore community. I dove headfirst into that community. It is a white organization. And we're changing that. I'm part of a change of that organization, of that getting flipped around now. But yeah, I mean, there's been some really hard struggles in that. My father, a businessman, always said, never talk politics or religion professionally in your professional life. And I never did that. We only talked flowers. Only talked flowers. I never knew I never even thought about political affiliation until Obama became president. I went to therapy over it because I lost a whole, group of friends who were like that monkey on Facebook, I mean, and I never knew that they had those kinds of, you know what I mean? We just, how do you grow a necklace? I don't know. I mean, we'd text and talk on the phone, but it was always about the flower. I mean, I never really even considered anything else. And it hurt me to my core. It really hurt me. I lost a whole group of friends that I never talked to them again. And other people in our organization embraced me and were like, we want to change this. And I mean, that was a really traumatic time. And then we were at a Grand Rapids conference during the election result night. We were in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the next morning, there were half people crying and half people happy and boisterous, and it really divided that conference. It's just become such a political hot button, but I'm so glad that AFCFG has made a commitment now to really promote and foster the growth of African American, or not just African American, but people of color, and just a wide swath of people, really promote them as flower farmers, give them support. And I think that's amazing. And we've lost members around it, you know, but the AFG have taken a hard stand that this is what they want to do. And I really respect that.
So when I was first approached about this project, I was really like intrigued and passionate about it, because these are things in our heritage that I kind of felt like I had to do more and more digging to find. So I thought it is such an important moment right now to make sure that I am repeating the stories of our heritage to the next generation, to my friends and family, to make sure that these stories are not erased. It's so important. And I feel like everyone kind of, as you get older, you kind of want to be more connected. Like, who am I? What is this all about? And having that understanding, having that connection helps you to become a better person going forward, a better community member going forward. And that's what it's all about. Like, how can I better my community? And so connecting with the florists here in St. Louis has been an amazing experience, and learning about George Washington Carver and about Dred Scott, and how pivotal and important these brave men were. And how can I do that? How can I be that for my community? I am a people person, and I love connecting with my community. I think this has spurred me on even more to make sure that as a business owner, you have a kind of a tricky situation. You're trying to make money, you know what I mean? But how do I put people over profits? Make sure that's always my focus. So projects that are going to be involving youth, how can I intern? How can I spread education? How can I help people in my community? And so I am heavily focused on that. I have a number of projects coming out this fall that I'm really excited about. And with education, flower education, because I think, like, I don't know, little Black children, like a lot of them, they don't get to experience the garden and playing with flowers and things like that. And so that's something I think is really important. Like, how can I help the next generation become some florists?
I don't know what else I would do. This is in my blood. I love this. I'm never bored, because there's just so many different things you can do. Look at this, right? I'm a flower farmer. But look at this. It's like a bicycle, you know, with all the spokes. There's a million. You could do weddings, you could do events, you could do farmers markets, you could do, you know, I mean, and you could change it up, right? I mean, our whole business changed. I was just telling Hannah how much our business changed during COVID. We called it the three-legged stool of sustainability. We did a farmers market, we sold direct to florists, and we had weddings and events. During COVID, that was early March. So we believe that too much money is left on the table. I mean, we like being in the marketplace for Valentine's, right? So in March, when COVID hit, we had greenhouses just like welled up with plant material, flowers to sell. We were hitting the ground running, and then COVID came, and our weddings canceled. Our florists looked like deer in the headlights when I was doing delivery route. I made $12 that day. They were about to shut down. I pulled in the driveway and I said to Miranda, I said, at least we have farmers market. She said, no, Mima, farmers market closed. And I was like, okay, what do we do? I sat down my staff and I said, look, we're millennials. There's no secret bank account. There's no parents to call. Only way we do this is if we sell these flowers. By that evening, my staff has started an online store. And that online store, we called it Petals Off Our Porch. Not only took us through COVID, but promoted our business. I mean, we were getting note in buckets from our customers about how we were getting them through COVID. We got gift cards, and I mean, just the joy of being able to give that to people in such a hard time. And they had money because they were sitting at home. They couldn't go out. They couldn't, travel. They couldn't go to the movies. So their normal $40 bouquet that we sold at Farmers Market became like $180 bouquet, because they were like, you know what, let's get Sally a bouquet too. COVID really propelled our business. So, I mean, when I say there's different ways, there's always a way to work it out, right? There's always a way to work through. There's so many elements that you can do in this business. It's never ending. Like, 30 years, I'm never bored, right? I was at the wholesaler yesterday picking up this stuff, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, because I don't know a lot about different flowers, right? These tropicals that they're working with here. There's always a flower to learn about, and that's what keeps me engaged.